GOAT, a term meant to identify the greatest of all time. For boxing, Muhammad Ali holds the crown. When it comes to football, nobody can sling it better than Tom Brady. Pele earns himself the spot for soccer, and Tiger Woods is the GOAT of golf. So this leaves basketball. Compared to other sports, basketball has much controversy surrounding the GOAT debate. Is it MJ or maybe Magic Johnson? Some say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But one boy from Akron, who has grown into the biggest name in sports, might have just carved out a resume just as impressive as MJ's himself. So what keeps him from taking the title of the GOAT from Michael Jordan? For that, we need to travel back to 2011, where the Heat were heavily favored to beat the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals. Or to be more specific, the time when the chosen one became the frozen one. Hey, what's up guys, it's Akil from T&B Productions, and today we're going to be looking at the biggest stain on LeBron's almost flawless resume. LeBron is considered in most people's eyes as a top 3 player, racking up countless accolades as well as posting solid stats. Before we get to the finals and to the point of this video, let's do some recap over the 2010-2011 season and understand the context of this matchup. One of his better seasons statistically occurred with the Miami Heat during the 2011 regular season. LBJ posted a solid 27 points on 51% from the field, while also bringing down 7.5 boards and dishing off 7 assists per game. This was all the while leading his team to a 58-win record, while being the leading scorer on a team that averaged over 100 points per game. Though this might not seem like a lot nowadays, you must understand that the three-point line wasn't too popular in that area of basketball. That being said, in the West, the Mavericks and Spurs were on the rise, while in the East, the Bulls edged out the Heat for the number 1 seed. Fast forward a couple months, and we are entering the NBA playoffs. In the first round, LeBron and the Heat faced a lowly 76ers team, in which they bested in just 5 games. Back in the West, the Mavericks edged out the Trailblazers in a nonchalant fashion. Both teams advanced to the second round, where the Heat bested the Celtics in 5 games. However, Boston did put up a solid fight, forcing the Heat to overtime in Game 4. The Mavs went on to sweep the Lakers, capping off their last game with a 36-point blowout, therefore allowing them to play the OKC Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, where they went on to beat them in 5. The Heat followed suit and edged out the Bulls in an easy 5-game series, thus setting the stage for the 2010-2011 finals between the Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat. As you can see, the Mavericks were no slouch of a team. However, they didn't quite match up with the super team that was known as the Miami Heat. The Heat had recently gone out and acquired Chris Bosh and obviously LeBron James. The addition of James helped create a lethal backcourt duo of LeBron and Wade, not to mention Chris Bosh in the frontcourt, of course. On the other hand, the Mavericks were led by Dirk Nowitzki, but didn't have any second star to match up with the Heat's offensive prowess. Yet in this series, the Heat didn't show much of that offensive power and potential that they had. The date is May 31st, 2011, in the American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas. The Mavericks are in uniform and ready to face off against the Miami Heat in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The game tips off with the Mike Bibby of the Heat getting the ball. Fast forward to mid-first quarter and both teams are experiencing some stagnant offense, with the game being just 13-12 Heat in the lead. Up to that point, King James had scored 7 points and 2 rebounds on 3 of 5 shooting from the field. He was pretty much the only player that got off to a solid start. As the game progressed, the score stayed relatively constant, and at halftime, the score remained at just 44-43, Mavericks in the lead. Yet through the entire second quarter, James only managed to put up a measly 2 points on just 2 shots. As you will see, this became a reoccurring theme throughout the progression of the series. LeBron finished Game 1 with a slightly below average game, by his standards at least, finishing with 24 points. However, most fans were not too worried about his performance because the Heat had still managed to clinch the victory. Game 2 had a much different outcome than Game 1 did, however, the Mavericks winning the game 95-93. This was the game that the criticism bashed LeBron at every angle, and rightfully so. He finished the game scoring only 20 points on 28% from the three-point line, and posting a -5 plus-minus efficiency rating. As if that were not bad enough, he turned the ball over 5 times and had a less than average 4 assists. Well, there's no way it could have gotten any worse than this, right? I mean, King James, the chosen one, can't have played any worse than this, right? Actually, wrong. In fact, it only got much worse from here. As Game 3 rolled around the corner, the series was tied at 1 game apiece. The Heat started Mike Bibby, Joel Anthony, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and most importantly, LeBron James. The game tipped off with Tyson Chandler winning against Joel Anthony, giving the Mavericks possession. Mike Bibby scores the first points of the game on a three-pointer from 25 feet out. Bibby was the first to put up points on the board. However, he was not the only one to do it before LeBron. In fact, LeBron did not score a single point for almost 7 minutes into the game, until Wade finally assisted him on a dunk, narrowing the Mavericks' lead down to just 1 point. LeBron ended the quarter scoring 8, about average for his standards, being on pace to score 32. Quarter 2 is where the meltdown started, at least for this game. LeBron only put up 2 stats in the second quarter. He scored 2 points and had 1 assist. He even turned the ball over 2 times, posting a plus-minus of -3. But that's neither here nor there. Now we get to the second half. LeBron played every single second of the third quarter and scored 5 points on 40% shooting. And to be honest, the fourth quarter wasn't any better. Crunch time, as they call it. LeBron again played every single second of that quarter. In that time, he managed to score a whopping 2 points, taking 3 shots to do that. In fact, those 2 points were in the first 20 seconds, and he went scoreless for the rest of the fourth quarter in a close game. He had an opportunity to seal the game with the Heat up 2 with 5 seconds to go, but of course, he missed the 25-foot jump shot to do just that. Lucky for him, however, with less than a second left, Dirk missed the jump shot from 16 feet out to tie the game, giving a huge break to LeBron's awful performance. Okay, well, LeBron James, the king, the chosen one, can't do any worse than 17 points on 43% from the field in an entire game, can he? A player of his caliber, of his greatness, cannot freeze when the lights are the absolute brightest, right? Well, this was his time to prove it. Entering Game 4, King James had a golden opportunity to prove himself as one of the Pantheon greats at the age of just 26. With the Heat up 2-1 going into the game, this was the time. The first quarter was another slow start for the King, going without a stat for the full 8 minutes until he finally made a tip-in with just 4 minutes left in the quarter. In fact, that entire quarter, he had scored just 4 points on 2 shots, which is the same amount of turnovers he had in the first quarter alone. Continuing on with the game, LeBron went 0 for 1 from the field and 0 for 1 from 3, only attempting 2 shots the entire second quarter and going scoreless. On top of that, once again, turned the ball over more times than he scored points. At this point, this type of play has turned into somewhat of a trend for LeBron throughout the series. LeBron in the third quarter continued his terrible play, being in the game for all 12 minutes and only scoring 4 points on 2 for 6 from the field, while missing his only 2 free throw attempts that he got. Yet despite this play from the Miami Heat's best player, they were still up by 4 going into the final quarter and up by 1 in the series. LeBron still had time to lead his team in the fourth quarter to a 3-1 series lead, which would have made it virtually impossible for the Mavericks to come back and win. Well, what did he do with that opportunity, you might ask? Well, he choked, like, what were you expecting me to say? He again stayed in for every single second of the quarter and went goose eggs as far as scoring. This time, the Heat could not carry him to victory like they did last time and lost the game by 3 points. These were stats for the game. In 46 minutes of play, LeBron only put up 8 points on 27% shooting and went 0 for 3 from the 3-point line. He also only made 2 free throws, all the while going 50% from the line. He did manage to dish out 7 assists and pull down 9 boards, but also turned the ball over 4 times. If LeBron was able to make even a single one of his 3-point attempts, the Heat might have been able to edge out the Mavericks and go up 3-1 in this series. But we all know that did not happen. Instead, the Mavericks were able to tie the series at 2 games apiece. So let's travel to American Airlines Center for Game 5. In Game 5, LeBron still has the opportunity to go up 3-2 and be one step closer to winning his first ever NBA championship. Again, Game 5 starts with the Mavericks gaining possession and LeBron missing his first shot that he took. You know, the usual for the series. LeBron scored his first points yet again on a dunk assisted by Dwyane Wade. About a minute later, with 7:26 left in the quarter, he throws a bad pass which is picked off by Tyson Chandler. He ends the quarter with just 2 points on 25% shooting. The second quarter saw him improve slightly, scoring 7 points on 50% shooting, going 0 for 2 from 3. This game again came down to the fourth quarter, with the Mavericks being up 5 going into it. This was yet another instance when the lights were shining the brightest, LeBron's play was at its dimmest. He went through the entire fourth quarter scoring just 2 points on 25% shooting, not attempting a single free throw. In fact, he played the entire quarter, and while he was on the court, he posted a -4 for plus-minus. These were his stats for the game, including his -11 plus-minus throughout. The Mavericks of course won this game, giving them a series lead of 3-2. Let's not put this game's blame all on LeBron, however, because he was not the only player to have a bad night. Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh both posted a plus-minus rating of -13. In fact, every single player on the starting lineup had a negative plus-minus rating. Mike Bibby had the highest at -7. Anyway, I'm getting tired of all this bashing LeBron stuff, so let's just sum up Game 6 in 5 words. -24 plus-minus. Enough said. So we all know that the Mavericks won this game and the rest is history. The Mavericks won their first ever championship, Dirk cemented himself as a top 15 player of all time, and LeBron James completed the biggest superstar meltdown in NBA history. Let's focus a little bit on that last part though. Why did LeBron choke so hard? Was it because he was on a brand new team? Were the Mavericks just too good of a team for the Heat to put up a fight against? Or perhaps was it because the bright lights of the finals were just too bright for him to show up? In terms of the lights being too bright, he played in the 2007 finals while he was on the Cavs against a much tougher opponent, known as the San Antonio Spurs. They featured Hall of Famers like Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. The Cavs' second best player, on the other hand, was Drew Gooden. If you've never heard of him before, it's okay because I didn't either until making this video. LeBron in his 4th season at the age of 22 was able to score 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists per game throughout the series. Now that might not sound amazing, but with all things considered, it was a pretty great stat line, being a better stat line than his in the 2011 finals, which is the topic of this video. Okay, maybe it's not because of the lights being too bright, but maybe was it because of the fact that he was on a brand new team that season? Well, that simply can't be true because with his brand new team, he was able to lead them to a 58-win record while reaching the NBA Finals. In the series prior to the finals, he went against a 62-win Derrick Rose-led Bulls, and he scored 28 or more points 3 times, showing that chemistry with his new team wasn't a problem at all. So could it really have been that Dirk Nowitzki was just too good for LeBron, Wade, and Chris Bosh to all take down together? Well, in the one occasion that they did play, the Mavericks in the regular season took them down by just 2 points, which to me isn't solid proof of anything. That being said, we probably never really will know why the chosen one became the frozen one in this series, but all I can say is, as a Mavericks fan, I thoroughly enjoyed making this video. It wasn't directed at bashing LeBron, but merely to look over a series of events. In my opinion, LeBron still is the second greatest player to ever dribble a basketball, but we'll save this praise for another video. If this video hits 50 likes, I'll make that video. Speaking of likes, we would really appreciate if you like this video, because the YouTube algorithm kinda hates us, and every single like counts. So after watching this video, has your opinion on the Chosen One changed at all? If it did, comment it down below. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, because these take a lot of hard work and time to make. Other than that, thanks so much for watching, and it's been Akhil from TNB Productions, and I'll see you in the next upload.